All right, this is the SIG release meetings for May 22nd, 2023. So the agenda items.
You want to share the screen?
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Okay.
Okay. Do you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Good? Okay, cool. So I guess we'll go to the sprint status after, right?
Yeah, we need to go through the board.
Okay.
Let's
So
do that later. I put the link in the chat.
We'll do that later. I'm guessing the code scanning and things are from Rado.
Yes, I think so.
Okay, go ahead, Rado.
Hello, everyone. All right. So for first thing, 2 new scans added: the scan code toolkit and fossology scans. There is a pull request for them, but they already run on this PR, so you can check out how they look like. Both of those are related to licensing, vetting, and generally licensing stuff related. The lichen scan, this is a scan that scans the already compiled binary to show the linked dependencies. Okay, so here if you scan down, scroll down, in the results here, I guess if you're not logged in, you don't see it. Maybe I can share the screen and quickly go through it.
Yeah, go ahead and share. Let me get out.
All right. Oh, let's see if that will work. All right, how's the visibility? You should see the agenda.
Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah, looks good.
All right, great. Cool. So the first thing, the scan code and fossology scans. In the results, you'll have the fossology and the scan code toolkit scans. So if you go to the details here, you will go to the job page, and there is a new tab, artifacts, added. So if you go there, there is a new service. I will talk about this later. So there is a new service allowing to browse Google Cloud bucket without logging into the infrastructure account. So you can browse your artifacts and build logs. So right now we're also creating the artifacts directory, and here, if you check, there's a fossology report created for licenses saying no violations found, because as a settings file, I've added to included allowed licenses, Apache 2, all 3 BSD, so 3 close, 2 close, and 1 close, and ICS license. This is also up for discussion. I've already posted this on a Slack channel. What are the allowed licenses, or what licenses are good to use in the dependencies? I guess all those I've mentioned are compatible, and they are very frequently used together in various other projects, which main license is Apache 2, like we have here in Nefio, but I'm not really a specialist from this. There, John.
Oh, I just wanted to, so this is scanning, I think you said the build artifacts. Well, do we have, does this also, or do we have something that's scanning our source file headers to make sure we have included the license? I don't know that.
Yes.
I don't know what, okay, we already have that, or this does it, or?
Yes, we already have this. I will show this
Awesome.
in a minute. This is, I guess, in 3 separate scans. It's being
Okay.
checked. So yeah, just a sec. All right, for a keywords, we're looking for things like licensed under or based on or derived from, copied from, things like this. So this is also an easy way to check whatever is committed if it contains something about licensing, so it can be quickly reviewed. And for copyrights, it also puts the copyright header content regarding to committed files. So you can see, like, for some files that we don't really have like a uniform copyright header. For some, it is like nephew authors. For some, it's just a nephew. So this is also a quick way to kind of see if there are some differences there that should be fixed. So that's one thing. The other one thing is that scan code toolkit. So if you go to the details here and the artifacts tab, you got your scan code report, which gives a summary of licensing for committed files, or if some of them are not, don't have any information about licensing. Also have like a brief summary of for a big repos. It's quite large file, but it has like what kind of licenses are mentioned there. I can see that the LGPL is somewhere around here, so this has to be reviewed. It's not 100% bulletproof. It works on some heuristic, and sometimes it might give false positives. For example, if LGPL license is just mentioned somewhere, it can trigger the result, the false result. But it's better to be on a safe side. And the report is also pretty similar. So you have your copyright holders. Here you can see, like in this Docker file is a nephew, for example. Here you have like your nephew authors. So that would be those two newly added scans. So far they run on a nephew repository, but once this get merged, the same rules apply to any other repository. So I will, in the same manner, I will fill pull requests against other repositories. For a lichen scan, let me check.
Rado,
yep.
Right now, these are scanning and checking, but they're non-blocking. Is that correct?
Yeah. So you can merge this code. They're just informational.
Okay, at some point, we probably want to do a little, maybe in a week or two, we want to do there's things we should fix in there, right? So we probably want to take action on those before too long. But
yeah, absolutely.
Eventually, maybe they become not.
I think I was also going to say the same point.
Sorry, I jumped in.
So no, it's okay. It's okay, John. I think thanks for bringing it up. That one confusing thing to me was, Rado, and one report they said there are no violations on licensing, but on the other report it said it had LGPL. But I know in the allowed licenses we only have ASL, MIT, and BSD. So
right.
That's where I got confused. How in one place it said no violations of licenses, and the other said it found LGPL.
Yeah, as I was saying, it's not 100% reliable. Sometimes even if you have in your README mention of LGPL license, it can trigger the scan that it contains LGPL code. So you just have to go through the file that's mentioned there and just, I guess, visually check if it doesn't contain like a preamble of LGPL or something. So it's that's why, by the way, that's why there are two scans, different scans doing basically the same. So we have like a double check if we're on a good side. That's not, as I said, that's not 100% bulletproof process with license vetting. So
Okay.
if there is a doubt, you have to basically go to this file and just check it manually, so to speak. All right, so
can I request you that LGPL stuff that you found, can you please put it in the Slack? If there is really an issue, I think let's take care of it sooner rather than later.
Yeah, absolutely. I will put this in SIG release chat. That's the thing. Let me
Because I was
find this.
thinking, my only concern is if there's a huge dependency on some LGPL code, then probably we have to find an alternative.
Yeah. If we see them, we have to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So here in nephew.spellcheck YAML, it says LGPL 2.1.
That's okay.
So that's evidently a false positive. I will copy this report. That's also a good. It's actually good that it came up now. So we kind of see that it's not 100%.
Got it. Yeah.
You might be able to remove that from the spell check entries if it's not like that. Might have just come in as a default from the spell check container. Like you might be able to just remove that line and just get rid of the false positive too. Since we don't, theoretically, we shouldn't be talking about the LPGL particularly in our code.
All right, cool. So the next thing I was gonna say, that's the lichen test. That's pretty nifty project. So what it does, it scans the binary for linked dependencies and checks the licenses of these dependencies. So sometimes in a code you can have including some library, but it's not actually used and it's not in binary, right? So that's the third test of the third stage kind of license vetting that we have here. So what I do here, it basically builds every binary here in the nephew subdirectory and checks their dependencies. What's the license? So it's using a few steps to do it. It contains the it's called licensee, but with two E's, like C something. Component. It doesn't use the GitHub API, so to check the repository content for license. So that's good. We're not gonna get throttled on by doing requests to GitHub API. And there's also the list of allowed licenses. And the way this scan works, so if there's a license in one of the dependencies that's actually not on a list of allowed licenses, it exits with exit code 1, so it will actually break the pipeline, so it will have to be fixed. So that's kind of like a final stage to like a sieve to rule out any problems with licensing. So I just went manually through few of those. I just ran them manually on these repositories, and from what I gathered, it's mostly Apache and BSD, and there's like maybe 3 components that are IST licenses. So we're looking good on this as far as I've checked. So the new services, one I've already mentioned, is this GCS browser. So Nephew by default doesn't have any mechanism to browse or basically interact with artifacts produced in the builds. So this is like an external application done by a Kubernetes team. So it allows you to see the bucket content without logging into the account of your Google Cloud where Prow lives. So this will allow people to check the content of this bucket is public. There's nothing there's nothing secret there. There's just text files containing logs from these builds, but you can also use in your builds the variable artifacts with capital letters, and this is a location of directory where you can store your artifacts there. So just for a future reference. So this is external service. It's I've set it up on a VM, not in our Kubernetes. So in case our Prow infrastructure goes down for some reason, it still be up. For example, to see the logs, maybe to see if any of you broke something, just in case. That's one service. Another service is a standalone Fossology server. So for people not familiar with the Fossology, that's I guess Linux Foundation backed project, which contains a few different scans to do exactly what the previous scans I've shown you are doing. This is just like a GUI for it, and contains few more components. So that's the licensing part. You can check like what file has what license, or if it doesn't have at all, and you have to kind of like fix it or something. It contains also checks for like export, some export restrictions, like for cryptography stuff. Generally, there's a lot of it. After the call, I will unicast you the login details for this service. So what you do is you add your repository URL to run the scan on it. Wait around 15 minutes until all this stuff just finishes, and you can just go and browse the results here. Maybe in more pleasant way than in logs from a Google Cloud bucket. And this is also on a separate VM. We'll see if it will be useful. If not, I guess it can be safely deleted. But it's also a good way to see what's going on in your code base. It can also generate things that are recently kind of on a big interest, so like SPDX stuff or Readme OSS. So that's the thing that contains all the licensing that's used in the project and stuff like this. All right, what's the next thing? For 3.5GC build this morning, I've enabled creation of the latest tag for every upload that's created from every commit build. So it will help the team to use it in some dependencies. So far we haven't used the latest tag for any repo. I guess Vim was using it for some components, for some separate builds, as far as I know. But we have so far we got two kinds of tags. One is build ID from Prow, and the other one will be created if you create the release, creates the tag, and this tag will be used as a tag for the image. Right, Tal? Your
It,
mic's not working or something.
If you're
cannot
speaking,
hear.
probably you're on mute.
Oh, okay. I thought
You
it
got
was me
double-
losing. I thought I was losing on
Oh, okay.
audio.
Yeah, I'm here now. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, you were double mute or something.
Yeah, sorry about that. You missed some really great things that I said. But anyway, I'm posting a link here to my pull request which builds the free 5GC images. So maybe you can look at how I did it in the make file. I know that we should probably have a unified way for doing all this. I think everybody is doing it a little bit different. Right now, to build the operator images, it hasn't been super great. I know that actually we made a mistake and committed in the make file for the operators. We're actually defaulting to Denise's personal Docker Hub user. So yeah, you can see that I'm actually tagging both so there are two tags, right? There's, in this case, the tag numbers matches the free5gc version because I'm trying to follow what we've been using until now from the Towards 5GS project. But yeah, anyway, I hope everybody can take a look at this, give me feedback, and if it's okay, I think we should actually accept the PR. But otherwise, yeah, this is what needs to eventually be hooked up to use our Docker Hub credentials, which right now I'm just doing manually when I push. This does not have to be part of our automated deployment, right? Because we should only rebuild these images when free5gc releases a new version, right? Otherwise, we just do it once and put it in our repository, which I already did.
All right, cool. I mean, it's still even if the release cycle is like once a year, once a quarter or something, it's good to have this in a CI just to keep track. And if we want, for example, like digitally sign those images or something, so that's probably would also be more convenient to run it from CI.
That's exactly true. And also, you know, build it, say, with a newer version of Alpine or be able to change the OS. So there are security reasons. You're absolutely right. Why we want to rebuild it occasionally. Right.
Yeah. So this can also be plugged to our build infrastructure. So yeah, I look into this in a free time. All right. Well, cool. I've got basically that's it. What I've got. I've added some information to test infra wiki just to have something, you know, like a quick start, where to click if you don't really know what's going on and what's this all about with this pro and all our infrastructure. So there's like a more like a README than wiki, but it's I mean, this can be extended if somebody feels creative. So that's some start, and that's about it from me for today. Bala.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate everything that we've done here. One thing I wanted to ask is that latest tag that you did for the free 5GC images. Do you plan to do it for all the repos?
Yeah, I can do it for all the repos. From the last meeting, from what I gathered, the BIM want to use the Docker Hub, and he was pushing to the latest tag, so we won't collide with our builds. I will check if that was the case. If it's not breaking anything, I will just discuss this with BIM. If it's not breaking anything, I will add this to rest of the repos. One note though, I know it's convenient on the other hand, but it also can create some problems because we never know what latest was the latest. So in case something happened, it's just better to have, you know, your number as a version. But it is feature that's widely used and I guess adopted. So I will add this to the rest of the repos if it doesn't collide with what Vim's doing. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, please go ahead, John.
Go ahead, John.
I just wanted to say, since I don't usually come to the SIG release meetings, I haven't been in touch with everything, but this is awesome. You guys are doing a ton of work. It's really, really helpful. And I think that if you haven't already planned to present it to the TSC, it would be good to take some time. You didn't already do that, did you? I'm trying to remember what our last TSC.
Yeah, Rado
Not
did
the
a
yeah,
really
not the
great-
licensing thing, but the last time it was more
Oh, the
a
license.
He
prom.
did the pro thing.
He did prom.
Oh,
last time.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe like we should keep them informed because this is like license, you know, all these things are important, and like let's make sure that, you know, this thing has visibility, really is what it is, because it's a lot of work and important work, and it's easy for people to just take it for granted, and you know, we want to make sure that the TSC sees it. So that's all. But it sounds like, yeah, I remember now last time we did that, you did that, and then as you go to the licensing thing, maybe not this next TSC, but just probably, I guess it'll come out in the SIG updates. I just want to make sure that there's visibility for the SIG.
Yeah, I don't think we full presentation for the TSC, but I think that definitely the next TSC mention, when we talk what SIG release is doing, we'll definitely update them.
Yeah, we have been providing the updates, but I think mostly John's point is mostly a presentation of what Rado did here. The same kind of presentation in that forum as well. Yeah, I think that will be useful.
So just in case people are curious, so I'm managing the TSC. They asked me to manage the tech overviews, I'm calling them, for the TSC. Coming up, not in this TSC meeting, but the one after that is a security-related presentation. So I think they'll definitely interest people in this SIG. So talking about how to harden various aspects of Kubernetes. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that one.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
So I guess go ahead, Bala. You're next.
Yeah, I mean, is it okay for you to share the board? I just wanted to make sure that I put the link in the chat. Or Rado, you can
go ahead. Well, you can go ahead and share it too, Bala.
You
It's a
can,
little
yeah,
easier for you. It's easier for you to navigate, right?
yeah, you can share it. It will be more convenient, I guess.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I have a quick question for Rado. Rado, is now the repo for test infra fixed such that it requires 2 LGTMs rather than 1?
Yeah, I haven't had time to look into this. There is a plugin where you can define more granularly, like what kind of approvals and how many it needs. I will definitely look into this.
But it's the same thing for others, right? The other ones
what's-
actually have the same requirements, other repos. Is it not the same?
Yeah, I guess that's a good idea. So what's the deal here? Maybe not everybody's on this topic. So what actually Vish was found out is when you're reviewing a pull request, for example, there's no good way of knowing if somebody else is on it. So the case was we were both on the same pull request. I've just merged it kind of, you know, in the middle of Vish doing the review of it, which can be understandably annoying. So we're just thinking about a good way of preventing this. There are some mechanisms in Prow. I'm not sure how elastic they are when it comes to what we need in our infrastructure. So as I said, I didn't have time to look deeply into this. But maybe it's just a way of kind of respecting some workflow. So for example, if somebody's doing a review, then you make yourself the assignee of this pull request, so other people know that somebody's on it, or just leave the comment and make yourself assignee. That's up for discussion. But I will definitely look into this, so we'll not wasting time to people looking at the same thing in the same time.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Rado. Yeah, this one is going to be quick, and I just want to make sure that from this SIG we are making progress on the. Today is, in theory, the last code freeze day, I would say, but even that probably for the release activities it can go on. I just wanted to make sure we go through the board and we update it properly. I have a feeling that this one is done. The create Nephew Docker registries and make sure builds pushing items to them. I think that
Yeah.
is done. Okay.
That one is on Aravind.
Yeah, but I think that you did this, right? Actually,
Yeah, that's done. Mhm.
okay, that is done, right? So I'm gonna change this one. But anyway, what happened? Oh, why did it do this?
It's if you press the assignee icon, it filters by assignee.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just wanted to change it, but anyway, it did. But I'll change the assignee later. Okay, cool. That one is done.
That's
And
done,
This one
yeah.
is done too now. Include OSS license fitting tool that supports Go. That one is done. And this one is done too, in my view. Wim, please speak. I think we had this. We merged this PR from Istvan.
It's back enabled, yeah. It's back
Yeah.
enabled. We disabled it because of the Go mod, but now it's back on. So I think
Yeah,
it's
back
okay.
on because of the PR from Istvan. So Nephew set up Nephew cloud as test environment. Wish Rado, do you have Victor? So where do we stand? I think we are done on that one. Please correct me if that item is not. If my understanding is not correct.
I mean, when it comes to the infrastructure itself, so spinning up the instance and deploying whatever we want on it, that's done. But as for the rest of these points here, I guess Victor would be a good person to ask. I'm not sure. I haven't synchronized with him in a while, so I guess we will have to ask Victor.
Okay. So the VM itself is done, but other IP address and VLAN and stuff. So Vish, do you have any information? Did you get a chance to speak to Victor on this one?
I think there's a PR by Victor where he's actually trying to bring up, he creates a base cluster, right? And whatever Rado had done about like 4 weeks back, is modifying that to just bring a base cluster and be able to do all the other things that Wim has been talking about, Wim and Victor have been talking about, which means deploying all the packages and all that stuff. I forget the name of the PR. I think it is in progress, I guess, at this point of time. It is PR number 46.
That's probably the only one that's dangling on a test infra repo.
I think it's
Okay.
44 or 46.
So let me.
But not sure about the VLAN and all the other stuff. But I know it is all going to be covered as part of that deploying that packages and all the stuff. I believe that will be.
Okay. So what you guys are seeing, you guys are seeing my Chrome, right? Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just making myself a note, ping Victor. So I'll leave it in progress for now, and then we'll ping with him on that. So build pipelines, I know this is done. Yes.
That's done, yeah.
That one is done. Set up testbed for management and edge clusters. I think this one is, according to me, maybe done. I think we will be able to create clusters, right?
Yeah, that's also covered in what we have so far.
Yeah, I
in
think
the
it's
test
also
infra into
yeah.
end to end, yeah.
I think we are also changing us slightly now. We are only creating management cluster instead of management and edge, because the edge clusters are created by Nephew itself.
Right.
So end-to-end integration test repo. I think this one. Let's see. Yeah, this one I'm not sure where we are.
I saw some glimpses in his PR of something being done there. Like, he's using molecule as part of his PR. I think it already got merged. Maybe I'll let.
Yeah. That's the one we're reviewing together.
That was
so
doing.
I guess that covers the extent of this
Yeah.
of this issue here.
Yeah.
So,
So as to confirm, it might be better
can
that
one of you add a comment here, exactly how what the environments looks like?
I can reach out to Victor to
Yeah.
make sure that he adds it. That
Yeah.
way it's better coming from him.
Yeah, that would be. I guess
Or you
that
can
would be great.
probably CCP Victor there.
Okay, it's 161. I'll just keep it in progress for now.
Okay.
So you can ping him. 30 and 161. Okay, got it. That's good. So let's see the items and the this one is a lower priority. Consider label.
Yeah,
sync.
that's almost done. It's something I've just shelved it for a time being, but it's more or less done. Probably tomorrow or Wednesday, I can just push it out.
Okay.
So yeah.
This one is an epic. This one I think we definitely need document system and integration, test bed components and design. I think somebody contacted me from Infosys. They said they were interested in that. Then I gave him all the pointers to contact us back. I did not hear back from them. So did anyone from Infosys contact any of you guys?
Well, not me.
John, did somebody contact you? John or Stephen?
No, not on this topic. No.
Okay. Yeah, somebody wanted.
Yeah,
So
nobody's contacted me either. Yeah.
okay, got it. So anyway, but in general, we need to. I think we have Victor assigned on this one. I'm pretty sure I will put it in progress for now. We'll see. We'll talk to him. So this one, decide on build tool. This is Tal's wish list, but probably I'm thinking, can we close this item for now, Tal? That right now we are all decided on make files. Is that okay?
Well, I'd rather not close it, but you can remove it from the SIG. I hope we can revisit it
Okay,
later. It
basically
seems that
the
it
only-
happened,
Yeah,
but we didn't
remove it
actually
from
discuss
R1
it.
maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
Backlog for R1 and rolls over to R2 probably.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, I mean, we might end up deciding, but it's important, I think, that we as a community decide together.
Okay.
Right.
So basically, okay, I'll move this later. I'll move this to R1 for now. Remove it from the. Okay, got it. So this one we need to create. This is about obviously the item for sprint 5, the user guide and the installation guide. And this is also post R1, the rename Git repositories. This is again Tal's wish list. Then originally he had created issue 10 and we had a lot of discussions there. Then we had come to some conclusion. I think Tal wanted us to revisit it. This is again a post R1 issue, right? Tal, is that fine if I move it to post R1?
I don't think it has to be post R1. I actually think it might be better within the R1 timeframe. So when it's actually released to the public, our structure is more coherent. But it can happen at the end, after a code freeze. Well, it wouldn't be a code freeze because we do have interdependencies, right? So we will have to update certain Go imports.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not trivial, but I do think it's important. But as you said, possibly a stretch goal, but I do think it's important.
I'm so happy it's not assigned to me.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would be happy to do it. I don't think it's just going through all the repos and replacing the imports, right? But I think it's more important to decide on a schema and how we want to. If we decide what we want to rename them to, then I'll do the work of the renaming. No problem.
Yeah, I think that's the time-consuming stuff. Tal, what?
Yeah, it's more the discussion on how to do it. So we had a discussion, but since we closed that issue, I think the discussion became lost. That's why I linked that issue number 10.
Yeah.
So so the conversation was kind of cut short. I don't think we should have closed that issue, but it was closed.
So was the discussion happening on that issue? on that issue actually as a comment?
That
Yeah,
issue is it's not closed. It's open. We never resolved it. We just.
Oh, I saw it closed. I think somebody reopened it.
I don't think so.
yeah, it's number 10. I don't think you're seeing the tab. Are you seeing that number 10 I opened? Is it open in a
It
different
did
tab?
move to done, it looked like.
Yeah.
Wait, but
Okay, I remember seeing it closed at some point.
it's marked as
But
done.
what is
Closed.
what is the main issue that we should refactor?
Yeah, we need to, I think, rename our Git repositories. They're just very poorly named. So we discussed.
And which ones? We have API and we have Nephew, right? These are the two mains from my point of view.
We have free 5GC packages. We have free 5GC.
Okay, the packages one, I agree. I mean, there we have to do some work, but for that you don't even have to do importing, right? So it's just packages. So it's. I think the packages need some rework, but I think we need a bit of discussion on that probably because.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Depending on how you use, I already came up myself with 3 different flavors.
So take a look
depending
at
on how you use.
Yeah, I went through all the repos we had at the time and sort of gave my opinion on each one. And then there's some additional discussion, like should we use catalog or blueprints or packages? Like, and we probably like go ahead and add if you came up with 3 WIM, put 3 conventions, put them in there. Here's what I'm using now, like, because I think there's like we're learning, right? So let's take what we've learned. And
See, I see my current view, John, is flat. It's just packages, and how people use them is and what you probably need then is a UI is some. Let's say, yeah, I'll put it in the thing, but in the issue, but high level, I think it's better to have a flat list. And then to have one hierarchy on top that imports one of the flat lists.
Okay, yeah, well, let's see what it is.
But
exactly.
okay, well, let's discuss. Yeah.
There's
other
ideas too, right? Like one of the things we should eventually have, and this is, and we have a little bit of time. So like take our cluster packages. So the thinking I have is, right, we're going to have, you and I were talking on Slack earlier, like this idea of there'll be a resource sitting in there that identifies this as a Nephew cluster provisioning package. It could have a bunch of other resources associated with CAPI kind, with KCC, with Crossplay, with whatever the provider is. But there'll be this one resource that's sort of like the stuff that we want people to be able to affect, as well as advertising, hey, that's what's in this package. Then,
he disagrees.
Yeah. So the interesting thing is, like, we're going to end up with a number of those, right? Like, oh, this package contains a UPF. Oh, this package implements an SMF. So when we register a package, we really want a controller to go through and index all of those and figure out what they are, and then present some sort of UI or some sort of navigable, discoverable interface back through CLIs or UIs or whatever to the user, so they can. So when we go into the UI and we say we're creating a topology, we need a UPF. I can see there's 6 different UPF packages I can pick from, right? Yeah. So that's the sort of thing I'd love to see in our, end. Exactly.
No, I agree with you on that, John. So that's why I'm more of a flat list, and then with the way that you can get them or retrieve them somehow. That's kind of a little bit my sense.
Cool.
All right, I'll keep it open for now. We'll see where we go. Yeah, and that one. So that actually that's the board for us. So the main importantly, I think we need to figure out from Victor where we are on the infra side and the documentation side, 2 things. So I will ping him I'll ping Victor and see. I'll update the board and update the issues on those 2 issues. Yeah, so since we have a few more few more minutes, so Tal, how are we looking on that side for the code freeze today, the workload side?
How am I looking at what side? Sorry.
Sorry, how are we looking in terms of code freeze today, the workload?
Oh, okay. You're talking about other issues. Yeah. Well, I think we're very close. We still don't have SMF and AMF PRs. We haven't a PR for AMF, but it's not quite there yet. But we're very, very close. So I really hope in the next few days.
Okay.
Yeah. And after we do have those, we won't be able to code freeze. I think we'll need to kind of streamline the 3 operators or the 3 controllers. It's 1 operator, and yeah, there's still some work to be done there, but the bulk of the work is almost done. It's then just really clean up and improving consistency of the code and other aspects.
All right, thank you. And Stephen, while since we missed you on the package management, so we package specialization. So we wanted to know a little bit more about the
Topology.
Not topology, mostly about the status, the edge status and the status aggregator.
I think the whole stack, because I think we should talk about the whole stack with respect to the Google Seed code. I think.
Yeah.
Because
so,
there is
I have my NF topology code working. Well, no, I mean I'm in the midst of working with Arwen on the ESA integrations, and so that would be the bottom half. So the entire things that we're going to push the Google Seed pieces that are going to be part of Nephew R1 are the ESA, the Edge status aggregator, which is sort of sitting there and waiting for us to integrate. The Watcher agent, which we're not expecting to have any modifications, but then it has an effect on ESA because it needs to expose an IP address or a endpoint for the Watcher agents to send gRPC message to. So that would be part of the integrations. I mean, I don't think we'll actually do something there until we realize or we understand how to at least do that. So for us, flatly, we probably just create a service. So that's the coding part. The part where you're going to make this work or trying to make this work on our test bed. I guess we'll wait until integrations to know. I saw something from Vim saying that he's now exposing services or something using Metal LB on the load balancing front.
Yeah, we are. I with Victor actually. Yeah, I did something, but then Victor took it over. So he has. So he's using Metal LB. So you could basically, yeah. So it's basically you take a service and you get an IP, basically, right?
Yeah. So operator front, we kind of sidestepped the whole thing by saying that anything other than UPF will be dumped into the same cluster, and therefore we can just use cluster IP and get it over with. But then well, I mean, otherwise it's the way 3.5GC config works is you even have to give them the endpoint or the IP address of NRF or the other guys like AMF. How do you contact SMF and things like that? So we will use name because there's no way we'll know the IP address by config time, because they're all services. So again, this is the limitations that we have for R1. But then the Watcher agents and the ESA part is not the same thing. So that one we need to expose a surface IP. But ESA learns it later. So this is not a config time thing, which is fine. And then.
But is someone creating a package for the edge or no? So that will be part of the controller.
Yeah,
thing.
ESA is different, but Watcher agent should be part of the thing that would install config things and everything. So I think
the config thing. I think someone should create a package for Watcher agent, I guess, right? Because I don't know who's doing that. So that's one, I think, because I think, John, correct me if I'm wrong, we should not install too much with the Bootstrap controller, right? So only config sync, right? And maybe CNI.
I think with the Bootstrap, the idea is, it should be minimal, right? Then we can, it's harder to change stuff that's installed with the Bootstrap controller, whereas we can manage stuff, all the other stuff regular pipeline. So yeah, we'll need a package for the Watcher agent that we can add to our list of packages that get installed on each workload cluster via the ordinary. So yeah, I think when we probably need a we'll need a way to do that, to say, hey, here's packages that aren't part of the Bootstrap that get installed in every workload cluster.
I mean, yeah, because see,
But-
I mean,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, you will get that, right? If you, what we will,
Just create
and that's by the way
another
also true for Free5GC, right? So you'll have to do the same there, because they also have to be installed on all the workload clusters.
Well,
But that was driven by intent though, right? So this is a little different.
yeah,
Free5GC?
it's not part of the platform. So part of the platform, the Watcher agent should be part of the platform. So we'll just add a package variant to our cluster package and it's done. Right?
No, but I'm talking about the operator that runs the
Yeah, so
AMF.
unless someone select Free5GC as the vendor, you don't need to load the operators until then.
Sure. But okay, I mean, for us, the flow is not very different, right? Whether so the way it is, or the way it is right now is you get presented a bunch of packages like we discussed before, right? And then you can pick and choose, and then Free5GC will be one, and Watcher agent will be another one, and you just install, right?
Right. But anyway, we can.
But okay, I mean, it's a detail. Yeah,
it's a detail. Yeah, but
Yeah, so-
we'll need a package for it. Yes.
Yeah, so let me. Yeah, I'll work on that. So
And then
for the Edge Watcher, it should be part of what Sandeep is doing with, because it should be part of the controller.
yeah, it is.
Of
Yeah,
the
so
Nephew
that's the
controller.
management cluster. That's the management cluster controller. So that
so we should be able to integrate that now.
the
You'll
Nephew
see,
management controller, I guess. Right? Oh.
Stephen, Sandeep has a PR out right now that integrates the two specializers into the controller manager. So we should do this similar thing with Watcher agent, and it'll just get installed with everything else.
Oh, okay. So creating stuff, we have to write a specializer.
No.
No, there is
okay,
see, we created a
Controller
something
manager.
that controller manager that starts a bunch of controllers and reconcilers, and you should be integrated in that. So as such, as one operator, it's basically similar. I don't know exactly how you did it for AMF, SMF, and UPF, but Sandeep created a framework on which you can basically install a bunch of reconcilers from various sources. So we run Bootstrap token. So we have a bunch of reconcilers. The specializers are in there, and the Edge Watcher should also go in there.
So wait. So the Edge Watcher reconciler. Oh, you mean integrating the whole thing into that management controller? Oh, it's a management controller just there to create controllers.
It creates controllers. Controllers. It's an operator. In essence, it's an operator that has a reconciler interface to start them up. Basically, that's all it is.
Okay. So it's still a separate operator running, right? It's not like we integrate all the controllers into a single operator binary, right?
Well, no, that's what it does.
Yeah, we do.
We do
that.
Binary and runs multiple reconcilers in the same binary.
Interesting. Okay.
That's like how Kubernetes does it. If you look at Kubernetes, any Kubernetes installation, the manager, like they've got a controller manager. It's got 50 or 60 different reconcilers in it, right? It's because every one of those resources has reconcilers, and they all run in there. And we would put the NF topology one in there.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. NF topology is outside of that scope, right?
It can be if you want, but there's no reason for it to be. Like, there's no reason why not to just put them all in one binary and let it do the thing. Like, what's the point of having multiple binaries? It's just linking. Right? It's like literally you create a file that links in all of your stuff, and you implement the interface that Wim put together, and like it's done.
Okay, that's an interesting integration. So we can
we can typical.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
So basically,
but anyway, going back to Bala's questions. So the ESA takes half of NF deploy controller from Google Seed. Actually, the bigger half, to be honest. And so the second half, which is the hydration half, is pretty much going to be rewritten to the NF topology. I would say the pre-deployment part of the NF topology would basically take on the same role, but then everything's kind of offload to the PBS controller anyway. And then the second half, which is exposing something to trigger ESA to start monitoring is also, rewritten. So this is basically a new controller by itself.
Okay, so so do you think we have just from the timeline perspective, we have this sprint this week and next
So
week?
I have a so I'm going to do integration with Arwen on ESA and the post deployment half of NF topology. We'll expose. I mean, we'll have to see what the specialized things, but then we'll expose the PL and then we'll iterate based on what the Nephew architecture is. The top half is actually the simpler, if you will, the pre-deployment half, which is just creating PVS, and also actually have to. Oh, actually, that reminds me, we only have a minute left. I guess I'll contact him separately, but I guess the SMF the SMF after all UPF thing, in terms of, because I think you said you want all the package conditions to be funneled through a single controller.
All the package conditions.
Yeah, so because I was thinking of using package conditions to gate the SMF from being deployed until all the UPFs are deployed.
If you follow my strategy, it will never get through unless all the conditions are resolved. So because you are depending on the specializer to do so.
Okay,
So
but
the
then
idea
someone will have to put those things into the SMF package. Right.
Yeah, the specialization does that.
Okay, you already done it? I'm just curious. But you wouldn't
Yeah,
be
there
able
is
to
a-
because you don't have a
Yeah,
topology.
see, you should put in the what you should put in the package is I need an IP for a UPF, right? And
From the
there
SMF,
is one
you mean,
annotation.
from SMF.
Yes, because you have the topology, right? So you know how many UPFs you need and how many SMFs you need. So in the SMF package, you put an IP allocation with a query annotation that basically says, I need an IP, I need this IP for this UPF. If you do so, the IPAM specializer will query that IP, and if it's not available, it will wait. So it will set condition false, and if it's put there, it will continue. If it's available, it will continue.
Okay, that's fine.
And then
I mean, it's just,
and then the piece
yeah.
which the piece that where we still have the open point is the peer part. So how to put it back into the thing. So that's the only piece that is open.
Right.
But the query and stuff like that is all there.
Yeah, but then I basically give you the peer of the SMF side by telling you that this set of UPFs are the one that you're actually waiting for.
But you don't know the IP, right?
I don't know the IP, but then you can also read I guess it's a little too much. But then in theory, you can also read the conditions to know who are their peers on that SMF. Because it's only
but I
relevant
need
for
to
SMF.
I need to give it back to you in a way that the SMF understands, right? That's the problem.
So yeah, that's the operator side. So yeah.
Yeah, okay. I mean, but we have to, all the pieces need to come together, right?
Yeah. So we'll talk about it later. But yeah.
Yeah, that's the part that is open, is how the SMF gets it.
Yeah. Okay.
The rest is
for
there.
Paolo's questions, I hope to get the PLL for at least the post deployment part. I have a meeting with Ronak tonight, so let's say tomorrow. And then the other part is being coded, but then unit tests and things. So probably take another couple days.
Okay, thanks. So I think we are in a position, I think we should be starting putting things together this week and start integration testing.
Yeah.
This is the week. I think, John, you'll be giving us the Porch build, right? For that one?
The Porch build is already there and it's already built and pushed. There was a release done.
Oh, awesome.
Now, that said, there are bugs. So Wim and I were late last week where, he was building out the packages. We were trying to get it to work and I ran into all kinds of little issues. Nothing that's a utter showstopper at this point, but my plan this week is to work on resolving some of those bugs. So we will probably have our own private build of Porch for a little while. But for now, version 18 is working well enough that it limps along.
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah. I also wanted to say you know, everybody's got their own style, but from a sort of trying to keep things moving point of view, it's really helpful to get PRs out earlier than later and let people start getting eyes on them and make sure that there aren't things that can be resolved along the way. If we wait till the end and we get a giant PR, it's really hard to review. So breaking things into small bits that can be reviewed a little bit at a time is super helpful. Even if you can't do that, like try and do your commits within the PR. So like when I did the PV stuff for the porch, I started with, here's the API, it's in a commit. Then here's the generated code, it's in a commit. Here's the implementation of one part of the feature, you know, along with its unit tests in a commit. Here's an implementation of the next part of the, that way it's so intimidating when you go to do a review and it's like this, you know, 40 files and there's thousands of lines. But if you then break down the commits, it can become much easier. So I would just ask that, since we're getting really tight on time here and there's still some big chunks left, I think that we're going to need to review. If we can get those earlier rather than later, ideally, or at least get them broken into logical commits that can be sort of reviewed one by one, that would be super helpful.
Yeah, +1 to that. Thanks, John.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Cool.
Thanks, everybody.
And this week, sorry, last question. Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, the UI portions are also coming in, right, this week?
So UI, we got the 2 viewers. So the UI has been sort of treated as a nice to have. There's actually a ton of stuff I've been thinking about for the UI, and I need to meet with the team. They are working on editors for package variant set. And I expect they're going to be able to get those done. So then there'll be the aspect, I think the thing, we don't have a nephew UI. We have still it's just like a very package management focused UI. And that's why I've asked SIG1 to put together a working group, and I think they're trying to put together a working group for that. So because really we need help, I anyway need help understanding what the users would want. But even without that input, there's a bunch of things, I think, especially now with the work Wim and team have been doing on getting swim lane 1 working, like that gets us to where we've got both swim lanes, and starting to think about the UIs to tie them together will be really interesting. And if we have the topology stuff, that could be really interesting, like UI wise too. So. But anyway, sorry, I talked a lot. Yes, we have the basic things in the UI and they'll be there, and the viewers are already done and merged and running. I saw some bugs there too we need to fix, but editors are being worked on. Those won't be ready for tomorrow, but everything on the UI is kind of considered best effort, because we weren't sure how soon the team would be able to get going. And now they're actually, I think they've got it down, and actually they'll deliver things pretty quickly, but there was a ramp up and we weren't sure how long that would take.
Yeah, obviously makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much. I think thanks for everybody. I think today it was a very full-fledged release call with everybody here. We were able to talk every aspect of the project. It was really really nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Adam.